Well, we've been seeing a lot of disappointed and very confused Bonza passengers arriving here at Melbourne Airport so far. You can see behind me that now we can see Bonza up on the screen, but these check-in kiosks are still showing that they are temporarily closed. There are no Bonza staff here either, and so it's being left up to Melbourne Airport staff to explain to these very confused passengers exactly what's going on and the fact that they won't be getting on a Bonza flight today. Now, we have also heard from some of those passengers. They say that they're really upset about the fact that they weren't even given any notification at all. In fact, some of them were getting texted as we spoke to them saying from the Bonza app that they needed to start checking in. And as you can see behind me, that clearly isn't going to happen. So this is what some of those passengers had to say.
Meant to be flying home. We've just put our son on a plane to go live in London and we want to go home, and I've just got here and some airport man out the front said, "Your flight's cancelled." I've come in and I can't find anyone to talk to.
Pretty stunned, actually. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I mean, I know Qantas is the only other airline that flies to Tamworth.
What can you do? We're supposed to be going home back to Rockhampton, but then we've got to travel a bit further. But what can you do? These things happen, so it's a case of trying to find out what our next step is.
So that was a couple that was celebrating a wedding anniversary, and they say this is all just going to be part of the adventure, unfortunately. But one thing that at least is good news for some of those passengers, at least those that have been stranded mid-flight, is that Virgin Australia has said that they are aware of this issue happening with Bonza flights around the country, and they are prepared to offer complimentary seats on Virgin flights going to the closest destination. Of course, that's only for those who are mid-flight. That isn't for people who are beginning their destination. For example, here we have 4 flights leaving Melbourne, so the first of which was obviously that Rockhampton flight, but also Gladstone, Tamworth and later on Alice Springs, and obviously none in the future as well that are necessarily being offered up by Virgin. But we have received a statement from Bonza's CEO saying that all of the flights around the country are going to be suspended today as they look at the ongoing viability of the business. And he goes on to say that we apologise to our customers who are impacted by this, and we're working as quickly as possible to determine a way forward that ensures there is ongoing competition in the Australian domestic aviation market. And of course, Bonza did burst onto the local aviation scene at the end of January last year, promising to deliver more to Australians. Clearly that promise is going unfulfilled, at least today as we can see. But they were looking at trying to service some of those unserved and underserved markets, so some of those regional areas